Welcome to Practice Admin Scheduler Setup View Schedule Training. If at the completion of this training you have additional questions, please email support@practiceadmin.com. During this training, we will be working under the Scheduling tab in the View Schedule option. The first thing we need to do is select the view, in other words, the schedules that we'll be working with. Go ahead and click the drop-down menu just to the right of Views, and to the right of Schedules, let's go ahead and select the providers that you'll be scheduling under. Once you've selected the providers and or facilities, go ahead and click OK, and now you will have as many schedules as selected. We'll work with these two right here. The first thing I want to show you is over down the right-hand side we have a navigator. This is an interactive calendar, so any day that you click on, it's going to jump you to that day's date. However, you can always get back to today's schedule by clicking on the Today button listed at the bottom. In addition, we have a quick jump feature in the bottom right-hand corner to jump forwards and backwards by 3 weeks, 6 weeks, or 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months. The view that we're currently looking at is under our range selector listed as 1 day. However, we can change our view to 5 days, which would be Monday through Friday. What that does is now you can see 5 days in the week, and there's a scroll bar at the bottom. And if we click the front arrow, we can see the other provider. So now we can go between our two provider schedule for an entire week. All right, let's go ahead and make an appointment. In order to make a new patient appointment or an existing patient appointment, we would go ahead and either double click to the right of the time and date that we wanted to select, and that'll pop open an Appointment Details Add New Appointment window. You can either look up a patient or add new. Let's go ahead and add a new patient. Even if your caps lock is not on, in this screen it's going to default so that you're typing in caps. The minimum information that's required to add a new patient would be their last name, first name, their date of birth, and their gender. Certainly all these other fields are available to be used, and of course the more information you have, the better. Don't concern yourself with the account number field, as that's going to automatically update when you save this new patient. Once you've filled in the details, go ahead and click the Save and Close. You will get a pop-up asking, are you sure you want to save this without a Social Security number? Just say yes and the save will complete. Now we have our patient information here, and we're going to go ahead and complete the required information to go ahead and book this appointment. A required field would be your facilities, so go ahead and select the location that the patient will be rendered services at, and you need to select an appointment type. We'll go ahead and select New Patient. If you had added reasons in the setup, you could select that at this time. In addition, you can adjust the default length of time. So based on selecting New Patient, the system is automatically defaulting this appointment to 30 minutes. However, if you know this is going to be a fast appointment or it's a complicated case, you can increase or decrease the time as you see fit. Also, your status is always going to default to pending. This can also be changed by you as needed. The tabs across the bottom, starting from the left, is your appointment notes. So this is where you would freehand notes, things that were discussed with your patient as you're making the appointment. We have a Resources tab, so based on resources being added into the setup, you now have the availability to check the boxes as needed. You'll be able to see any future appointments for this patient, any past appointments, Any recalls, those are appointments that need to be scheduled but have not yet been confirmed with the patient. And patient flags would be notes and information that is entered on the billing side that's showing here in the appointment window. The last item we would do to go ahead and complete this appointment is to click the disc in the top left corner to go ahead and save and close. Now, if there's any kind of conflicts, you would get those warnings down here at the bottom. Depending on templating that's been set up, dates and times that are available to be booked on, you would get this warning letting you know, hey, you may be booking outside of what you've set up as templating for this provider. If you're going to go ahead and override those warnings, you would just check the box to the left and then click the disc to save again in the top left corner. Once your appointment has been booked, you'll see a window has been entered here, and when you take your mouse and hover over that, you're going to get a pop-up box. This pop-up box has enough information in here for you to contact your patients, to go ahead and confirm their appointments, and go ahead and discuss some basic account details with them at the front desk. You can also see at the very bottom of this pop-up box your notes, and if you were running eligibility, you could see those results here. We'll certainly get into eligibility inquiries in a future training. After you hover over the appointment, if you want to go ahead and also make some changes to the statuses, that's when you would use your mouse and right-click over the appointment. And now we have some additional options. Now we can go ahead and edit the appointment, which would bring us back to that appointment details window. We can view the history. This will show each change that's made, either to the status or to the date and time of the appointment. We can also view notes. So we can see where we entered in our notes. You can view those and add to them. Also, you have the ability to reschedule an appointment. This works like a cut and paste feature. So go ahead and select reschedule with your mouse, and then you can right-click and select the move with their account number here. This is to confirm the change that you're making. You would say yes if everything is correct. If there's warnings, you would again need to check off on the warnings and save an additional time for that appointment date to change, date or time. So now it's moved from the 4 o'clock slot down to 5. Underneath reschedule, we have all of these different statuses for you to select. As the patient moves through the office, you would certainly want to go ahead and update the status. The default is always going to be pending, but certainly you can update them as confirmed. Once they've checked in, you could go ahead and select patient ready, and you'll notice what will happen is this letter P here to the left of the patient's name will change to a new code depending on the status that you selected. So patient ready would now change to PR. Now if the patient canceled or no-showed, you can go ahead and handle that here as well. However, keep in mind, if you mark them as no-show or canceled, they are going to be removed from your scheduler here. You'll still be able to find them in reports and in other ways, but they will no longer show, so that slot is now open and available to be booked by another patient. We also have this encounter form option. This would hold your super bills, and you could send us over an Excel spreadsheet of the CPT and ICD-9 codes that are used in your office, and we could load that picture in, and certainly that's something we can get into more detail in a future training. Now that we have a patient in the system, we can go ahead and look through some of these options across the top of the screen. So we've got our zoom in and zoom out. This determines the slot sizes listed on the left-hand side. We've got a patient lookup, which is going to give you different searching name features here, and you could go ahead and select your patient, and you're going to get a box down at the bottom that's going to show you any future, past, recalls, and patient flags. To minimize or to remove this, you would click on the double arrow. You can also click on your appointment list. What this is going to do is provide a secondary way to review your patients that are coming in either for the day or the week, depending on what your view is. You can right-click over this patient the same way you can over the scheduler, and it will allow you to do the same functionality. When you're done there, you can go ahead and click the double arrows and minimize that. Recall list we'll get into in a future training. Next would be your print, and this is to either print the encounter forms or to print your schedule. Let's go ahead and select print schedule, and you have options here to add notes or to limit the details. Once you've selected how you want your schedule to look, you would click OK, and that's what would generate the preview of your schedule. All of your reports are going to go into this preview before you actually can print them out. So you'll want to review them, make any changes, and you can change margins and you can export, email. There's a lot of different functionality in this print preview, so please feel free to take advantage of that. And once you've decided this meets your standards, you can print it and have it for your use. Let's go ahead and close the preview. In addition, you can print encounter forms from this little printer. At this time, we don't have any encounter forms, but I can at least show you what it's going to look like with the header of information about the patient. When you selected encounter forms, it defaults to the report called encounter forms. You have your date range here, and you click Run Report, and you'll get your results. Now, if we clicked on this printer up at the top, it would print this list of patients that are scheduled on this particular date. However, to generate the encounter form, we're going to right-click, and we're going to Print Selected. Now we get our preview, and we can see this is the information that's going to pull. Certainly, the more information you have listed about your patient, the more details you'll have on the screen. And then down below is where your ICD-9 and CPT codes would pull in based on what you all forward to us to load into the system. Let's go ahead and go back to View Schedule. Another way to book a new appointment would be to click on this little plus new button, and here you can select to add a new appointment or a new recall. All right, I think that covers the basics of our View Schedule training at this time. Please remember that if you have any additional questions, to reach out to support at practiceadmin.com. We appreciate your time. Thank you.